It's the 89th edition of the Iron Bowl, the oldest series in Crimson Tide history, dating all the way back to 1893. Alabama owns the all-time series lead 50-37, and the Tide has dominated the Tigers as of late, winning 8 of the last 10, including 4 in a row. Last year's matchup was one for the history books, trailing 24-20. Alabama had one last chance at a miracle on 4th and 31 with 43 seconds to go. Auburn chose to rush only 4, and Jalen Milroe made them pay. A 31-yard strike to the corner of the end zone, an unbelievable play, gave Alabama the 27-24 lead. Then Terrion Arnold picked off the Peyton Thorne pass to end the game as the Tide made a miraculous comeback in Jordan-Hare for the 27-24 win. The last time the two teams played at Bryant-Denny was back in 2022. The Tide had little trouble with the Tigers as Alabama led 35-14 at the half and rolled to the 49-27 win. Auburn enters this year's matchup 5-6 with a 2-5 record in the SEC. The Tigers' best win of the season came last week in an upset of 14th-ranked Texas A&M. Peyton Thorne found Keon Lambert-Smith, who made a leaping catch to score the 2-point conversion, put Auburn up 43-41 in the 4th overtime. Texas A&M had a chance to force a 5th overtime period, but the Marcel Reed pass would be dropped by Amari Daniels, and Auburn survived with the upset of the 14th-ranked Aggies, 43-41 in 4 overtimes. Heading up the Auburn program is Hugh Freeze. Freeze is 2-4 all-time against Alabama, including 0-1 as head coach of the Auburn Tigers. Senior Peyton Thorne leads the Auburn offense that is 10th in the SEC in scoring, averaging 29 points per game. Auburn is tied for 12th in the SEC in interceptions thrown with 11, but have been much better as of late. The Tigers have won 3 out of their last 4 games, and in those 4 contests, the transfer from Michigan State has been much improved, completing 69% of his passes for 998 yards with 9 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions. Senior Jarquez Hunter is the clear leader in the backfield for the Tigers. Hunter ranks 2nd in the SEC with 1,145 yards rushing on the season and leads the conference, averaging over 6.5 yards per carry. Senior Keandre Lambert-Smith leads Auburn in just about every receiving category with 42 receptions for 865 yards. Lambert is also tied with the Tide's Ryan Williams for the SEC lead in touchdown receptions with 8. But just like the Tide, Auburn has a super freshman at wideout as well. Cam Coleman has had his 2 best games of the season in his past 2 games as he went over the 100-yard mark both times, totaling 228 yards with 5 touchdowns. Auburn ranks 10th in the SEC in scoring defense, allowing over 20 points per game. The Tigers are middle of the pack in total defense, giving up just over 319 yards per game, while the Tigers are 6th in rushing defense at 110 yards per contest and ranked 9th in pass defense, giving up just over 209 yards per game. Auburn has 2 players in the top 10 in the SEC in sacks. Keldrick Falk and Jalen McLeod each have 7 on the season. And in turnover margin, Alabama still leads the SEC at plus 11. The Auburn Tigers, however, are dead last in the SEC and 126 in the nation in turnover margin at minus 11. The Tide has forced 25 turnovers on the year, while the Tigers have committed 20. Kickoff for the 89th edition of the Iron Bowl is scheduled for 2:30 at Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It will be broadcast on ABC. Reporting from the Crimson Tide production studio inside Bryant-Denny Stadium, I'm Christopher England with Tide TV.